Morning all. All right, let me just change this setting here. There we go. Glenn Richardson, morning. Natalie F, good morning to you. Morning, Althea. Roxanne, good morning, and thank you for my brooms, as always. I still don't have your song, but hopefully that will be fixed soon. Eric, if you're listening, send me Sweeping Time, please, if you have it, or Nicole Caesar, my good friend Nicole Caesar. I think she would have sent it to me last time, or Jenny might have it. If any of you have it, please feel free, and you follow me on Facebook, you could just send it to me in Messenger. Thanks in advance. Lynette Harris, morning. Lynette JG Wall, Rookman Gangadeen, morning Rookman, and blessed Sunday to you as well. Michelle Robinson, good morning. Althea says, I would really miss Dr. Rowley speaking skills when he retires, but all things must end sometime. So true. We are also grown accustomed to Mr. Manning's speaking skills, and well, yeah. Gabriel Phillip, morning to you. Dwayne Peters, morning, sir. Anna Sisneth, morning. Althea, morning. Cyril Meyers, morning, sir. Marianne Edwards, morning to you. Leon Graves, morning. Juju Bernard, Fiona Pamashwa, morning to you. Eva Martinez, Alberta Sampat, morning, guys. Annette Beard, morning. Annette Donna Walcott, morning to you. Roxanne asks, market run or just too much jump up yesterday? Neither. Roxanne. Kathy Belfon, Carol Boyce John, morning. J Dimple 66, morning to you. Donna Walcott, morning. Donna. Marissa Guevara Diaz, Kaylan Jackson, morning to all of you guys. Dr. DCA, morning. Patricia Commoner, morning. Patricia. Leon Joseph, my friend from Tobago, morning. Mikkel, Shah, all of you guys. Cheryl Mitchell, Jeremy Lewis, morning to you. Pamela O'Connor, Udani, Felix Hospitalis, morning, guys. Lisa Atwater, morning, Lisa. Lisa is our friend from Maruga, Timberland, and wishing her all the best as campaigning heats up. Wazid, morning. Helen Faria Trotman, morning to you. Anthony Joseph Riri, Deborah Durante, morning. Deborah Terrence Lynch, Gerald Pascal Manswell, morning, sir. Who do we have on Facebook? Rural Barnett, morning, sir. Joycelyn Small White, morning to you. Nadia Lewis Dixon, Arthur James, Sharon Williams, morning, guys. Listra de Matas, morning. Diane Charles, morning, Diane. Jennifer Dorset, morning. Patricia Lazari, morning. Nicole Geoffroy, yes, morning, Nicole. Judy Bowen, morning, Judy. Adriana Alexis, Alison Boyce, morning, Alison. Sarah Richards, morning, guys. John Edwards, Caroline Augustus, Christopher Siffy, Veronica Jack, morning. Stephen Martel, morning to you, sir. Marilyn Wanza Cloud, morning, Marilyn. Phyllis Antoine, Denise Reed, Philomen Green, morning to you. Good morning to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Pleasantville, Nigel O'Connor, and First Lady Mauricia Keegan. Nigel, thank you for sending me my song. See, ask and you shall receive. Yeah, so thank you to His Excellency. Claire Carrington, so I have your song now, Roxanne, so you'll get it next day. Ian Michael Glowden, morning. Ian, Jennifer Nathan, Denise Coggins, Kathleen Gibbs, Gloria Lazari Green, morning. Why is this thing doing this to me this morning? Ashton Clark, Sharon Humphrey, morning, guys. Alison Boyce, Claire Irish, morning. Dexter James, Bernadine Andal de Jocelyn, morning, Bernadine. Marjorie Johnson, Miriam Castellano, Ruth Fronten, Valerie Bowen, morning, Val. Deborah Durante. Yeah, this thing just playing this morning. So it is, what's the time there? 11:15. So let me jump on it because I have to jump out early, a bit earlier than usual today. Yeah, so I have to be done by about 1:15, guys. So yeah, so let me treat with the yellow elephant in the room. So, Nigel, Roxanne King says, thank you for sending her song. Right. So, yes, the reason why I'm in a tie today is because as soon as I get off here, I will be going to the W Mera Constituency Executive screening, where they will be screening 6 persons to choose one to recommend to the National Screening Committee. So, yes, I've decided, after much thought and prayer and consultation, to throw my hat in the ring to contest the constituency of what is now called W Mera, but will soon be changed to Malabar Mausika. And so I am one of 6 who will be screened today, as I said, by the constituency executive. And then tomorrow, screening takes place at Balize House. So thank you so much, Holly. Carol says she thought I went to church. Yes, thank you so much, guys. Yes, actually, it is your recommendations that would have contributed to the final decision to throw my hat in the ring. So yeah, and as the saying goes, may the best man or woman win. At the end of the day, we are all PNM, and whoever wins, we expect that the constituency would be all the better for it. Paula Mark, Marian Edwards, thank you so much. Juju says, but we want to have you on the air also. Of course. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Alison Samuel says, yes, I will support you full 100. Wish I could vote for you. I wish so too, Alison. Yes, but a vote for the PNM is what we need, and to ensure that the UNC does not get back into office. And so yesterday, the PNM would have celebrated its 69th anniversary as a party, the oldest surviving political party in the country's history. All of the mocking pretenders who would have come over the years, and the political cemeteries filled with has-been parties that couldn't make the grade, couldn't make the note, right? And then you have the main opposition, which has been courting the political cemetery for so long, right? I don't know, maybe they're waiting for Simpson, just to come and put them in a coffin. But hopefully, the right-thinking citizens of this country will do so whenever the general election is called later on this year. Rowley appeals to PNMites not to get tied up over Young's ethnicity, roots in Lal Bihari trace. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley yesterday appealed to party members and supporters not to get tied up with people seeking to make an issue of the ethnicity of Prime Minister in waiting Stuart Young. Rowley referred to Young's penal roots as he defended the energy minister against those who were questioning whether there should be a Chinese prime minister. Why is that still an issue, a conversation at all? Baffles me. But anyways, this is Trinidad. He is a Chinese from Lal Bihari trace in Penal, the prime minister asked, pointing to Young, who was seated in the front row. Young is of mixed heritage. His mother, Priscilla Nee Hossain, is of East Indian descent from Lal Bihari trace in Penal, Debe, while his father is a first-generation Trinidad-born Chinese man. So let's see if the residents of Lal Bihari trace in Penal, I'm sure they know, they would already have known that, right? And we know that that is in the heart of UNC-controlled Penal. So, not that it's going to make much of a difference to them, right? Young spent his early days traveling every Sunday to Debe to spend time with his mother's family, where most of his Trinidad-based family is from, and most of Young's relatives on his father's side now reside in Canada. Addressing the PNM 69th anniversary celebrations at Napa in Port of Spain yesterday, Rowley defended the PNM's long history of interracial solidarity. And that is why I want to say to all those who want to dip their nose and their whatever else in PNM business, when you see the PNM caucus votes for Stuart Young to lead the PNM in the parliament as prime minister, get the hell out of our business. Well, you will hear them. And don't you believe that you can incite PNM members about who is our leader and the shade of his skin? Because it is the same PNM members who, before that, voted him as chairman of the People's National Movement. So party members, don't get tied up. One of the divisions that we may have in this country and those who will divide us in this 69th year, the question is whether there should be a Chinese prime minister, he asked. He told PNM members that they must not let anybody tell them how to embrace their party or how to conduct their party business. So essentially stay focused, right? And the UNC, who loves to accuse the PNM of always playing the race card and blowing the racial dog whistle, they are the ones who are leading the charge with respect to this issue of Stuart Young's ethnicity and talking nonsense about 1%, and his ethnicity means that he's going to side with the 1% and the 1%. All that sort of 1% nonsense. He's been in government for the last 9 years and he hasn't been affiliated, well, associating with the 1%. So anyway, Kamala seeking to kill Dragon deal. Without mentioning the name of US President Donald Trump, the Prime Minister also castigated opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar for pandering to somebody else's politics in somebody else's country, and for genuflecting and prostrating herself in front of somebody who doesn't even know her. Dr. Williams had to deal with London in the colonial days, and we never saw that. Rowley said the unpatriotic opposition UNC had come out so obscenely and vulgarly and attached itself to the political campaign of an American political party because it wanted to kill the Dragon gas deal. He said the UNC wanted to provoke Venezuelan president and the government to prevent them from cooperating with Trinidad and Tobago in the oil and gas business. Make no mistake about it, if they are standing by, that they are standing by to celebrate the failure of the Dragon gas arrangement. That is so true. Anybody who doubts that, well, you need to get your head checked, right? So I wanted to just touch on that just a little bit this morning, right? Because Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, as we know, doubled down and tripled down on her support for Donald Trump, her castigation and criticism of the former administration led by Joe Biden, and talking rubbish about Biden's disastrous policies and so on, would have been a negative for the world. So it's been less than a week since Donald Trump has become president of the United States for the second time, and he's already making waves. I mean, there are protests all over the United States against his presidency, persons calling for his impeachment just 4 or 5 days into his presidency. But I mentioned this on Thursday, and I think it's worth repeating again, because I don't know if Persad-Bissessar read this. Trump urges OPEC countries to slash oil prices. President Donald Trump has said he will ask Saudi Arabia and other OPEC nations to bring down the cost of oil and double down on his threat to use tariffs. In a speech to executives at the World Economic Forum in Davos on Thursday, the US president said he was surprised that OPEC hadn't brought down the price of oil before the elections. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? You want them to bring down the price of oil so you could deliver on your election promise to bring down the price of fuel at the pumps in the United States. How does that help the rest of the world? How? Right now, the price is high enough that the war will continue, he said, referring to the Russia-Ukraine conflict and suggesting that the higher crude price was helping to sustain funding for the conflict in Moscow. But Putin is your friend. You got to bring down the price of oil, he said, and that will end the war. You can end the war with that. His remarks follow a conversation he had with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on Wednesday. According to Saudi state media, bin Salman pledged to invest as much as $600 billion or 484 billion euros or pounds in the US over the next 4 years. Saudi Arabia is the leading member of OPEC, a cartel of 12 oil-producing nations, which has a remit to work together to ensure stable oil prices. The price of crude oil fell by 1% after Trump spoke. So already it's having an impact, right? The Minister of Finance would have mentioned a couple of weeks ago in response to an Express article speaking to the delay in paying VAT refunds to small and medium enterprises. And they attributed it, the Express that is, to bureaucracy. And the minister came out and said it has nothing to do with bureaucracy. It was a cash flow issue, that the government did not have the money to pay it at the time that it had promised because there was a dip in the price of oil and gas, and there was also a fall in the production of oil and gas. And so the revenues the government had expected to come in to be able to pay those liabilities did not come in. And he, as the Minister of Finance, took a decision to satisfy the more urgent expenses, which probably included things like paying salaries to government workers, paying pension, and all of the other social welfare benefits that the government pays, priority was given to that. But he said that towards the end of last year, or towards the end of, I think, the third quarter or so, or the last quarter, the third quarter most likely would have been, that as taxes came in, and as there was a rebound in the price of oil and gas, that the government was able to get the monies that it needed to pay. But here it is that we see that Trump has just indicated that he wishes to have the price of oil fall, so he could make good on an election campaign promise to make America great again. And he couldn't care two hoots about energy-dependent economies like ours, where that type of development affects our government's ability to be able to pay the bills. Pure selfishness. But not one word from Kamala Persad-Bissessar with respect to that, right? But she says, yeah, she welcomes Trump sincerely from the bottom of my heart, the top of my heart, my whole heart. I'm giving it to you. I support you all, Mr. Trump. Not that we waste that time Biden, who was there before, woke policies. And it's important to note as well where woke started, right? Before it evolved into what it is today. When we first started to hear the term woke coming out of the United States, for those of you who would remember, it was in relation to protests for the rights of persons of African descent, right? When it is that we had Black athletes and so on in the United States who were taking the knee just before the start of a football game or whatever it is. When the anthem was playing, they would go down on one knee and they took a lot of licks so that those who were wearing armbands to show that they supported the movement for equal rights for persons of African descent who were being profiled by the police and so on. And then we had the killings that took place, people like Trayvon Martin and Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot by who was just jogging, and then the white guy and his son and his friend went and picked up a friend, and then they chased him down and shot him, killed him. People like Breonna Taylor, who was shot as well, called the police because she heard a noise outside her home. When the police came and knocked on the door, and as she was making her way to the door, they shot her. Didn't identify themselves as police, and all of these things that took place, George Floyd and all of that, right? And because persons were supporting that movement, which eventually led to the Black Lives Movement initiative, what they were saying as woke, all of these athletes is woke and so on. So it was an issue to support equal rights for persons of African descent. And Persad-Bissessar now, and these are things that we need to take into consideration, right? So as Dr. Oli would have mentioned yesterday, she's seeking, based on her utterances, to provoke the president of Venezuela. And understand, and I keep saying it, I've said it before and I'll repeat it, that if it is the UNC were to win the election, God forbid, I don't foresee Mr. Maduro wanting to have any dealings with the UNC, assuming that he's still there, of course, because so far, the US has not, the new administration doesn't seem to be willing to entertain Mr. Maduro, right? Especially with Marco Rubio being the confirmed Secretary of State and the US's top diplomat. David Oxley, Chief Climate and Commodities Economist at Capital Economics, said his comments are in keeping with the president's desire for lower gasoline prices. It is his clear intention to use energy as leverage over Russia to end the war in Ukraine. That said, lower prices will certainly not incentivize US oil producers to drill, particularly in high-cost Alaska. So you all know that has been a mantra of Trump's for the longest while. Drill, baby, drill. Put me back in office and we go in and drill. And America, which is already the largest producer of oil and gas, he wants to make them even larger. In fact, when the question was posed to him while he was signing all of these executive orders on, I think on Monday or Tuesday or so, about Venezuela, he said, well, we don't need to buy Venezuelan gas because oil, we have enough oil here. And he just dismissed it. He didn't go into any details. But as an aside, if you notice, those of you who have been observing, and when you look at Mr. Trump, when he's signing these executive orders, most of the times he has no idea what's in these executive orders. So the guy who hands it to him will hand him the folder and he opens it. He says, what is this? And he says, this is an executive order for so and so and so and so. And he ends, and the guy who is explaining to him what it is feels the need to mention at the end of, listen to it, at the end of every explanation he gives, to make the United States of America the number one in the world with respect to AI, and to make the United States of America number one in the world. That and I noticed that every one of these executive orders he signs, for some reason he needs to stoke Trump's ego by saying, so once you tell Trump this is going to make us number one in the world, he don't need to hear no more. Signing with this big black marker. Them white, those permanent markers is right with? Yeah. So this man just, and it tells you that these executive orders and the amount of them would have been drawn up prior to him being inaugurated. But who drew up these things? He didn't even take any time to read through the fine print to see what is in this. Okay, signing this. What is for? All right, no problem. Sign. Next one. Sign. Oh, that's a big one. Right. And he signed. All of the granular details he's not interested in. How does the president of the United States, who is supposed to be the greatest country in the world and the most powerful, is that any way to govern? That you're not taking an interest in what it is that you sign, you just sign blindly because you just get the headline of what it is, and okay, I support that. And Prasad Bisesa wants to tell us that is what she supports. And that fact alone tells you that she is unfit to be the prime minister. Did you all see her the other night in the video when they had screening? Was it Friday night, I think? She was celebrating 15 years as being the political leader of the opposition leader, I think. No, political leader of the UNC. She became political leader on the 24th of January 2010. She became opposition leader on the 24th of February 2010. And then she became prime minister when the PNM lost the election on the 24th of May 2010. So 24, that's her number. Right? So they were celebrating that. But the woman looked like if all the licks that she got for those two foolish statements that she put out, like it took a toll on her. I mean, the foundation, all the foundation on her face and so on, the makeup can't hide it, can't hide the old anymore. Can't. The woman taking her time walking, looking so feeble, a bouquet of flowers. She looked like she's straining with it. She had to call Julian, help me hold the flowers. And pretending as if it's for the purpose of taking a photo, but she knows she's struggling because all the cameras there. And she would not give up. She would not give up. It is obvious that Mrs. Prasad Bisesa is physically weak, physically feeble. But they continue to prop her up. And if this is how she is now, how is she going to be a year from now? 2 years from now? How? And if it is she becomes prime minister and is unable to carry out that function by virtue of the fact that she just cannot physically function, who is going to be her replacement? They're going to find themselves in the very same situation that the PNM is in now. Well, it's not a situation, but where it is Dr. already decided that he is demitting office and a decision has to be taken where a vote is to be taken to decide who would replace her. Right? How is that going to be decided? You could imagine the infighting that will take place in our party. Should we put Jillian John, Rudal Munilal, because he figured, remember she anointed him as her heir apparent some years ago, right? But then Julian John is an important figure. In fact, it is because of Julian John that Kamala Prasad Bisesa has tossed Gary Griffith aside. Remember a few months ago or so at one of the meetings, she put him on notice. Don't come after Julie. You're mad. So she's not even willing to entertain any sort of alliance with the NTA. But she can link up with the PEP. Who, by the way, I can now add to the list of persons who have blocked me on Facebook. So Jayanti blocked me, Marsha Walker blocked me, Philip Edward Alexander blocked me, Kamala Prasad Bisesa blocked me, and I have a couple others. Can't remember. It's just a growing list. And these are supposed to be persons who can debate, and these are supposed to be persons with cojones. And you would tell me one comment that I put on a post that you put out, and you blocked me before because of that? I thought Philip was supposed to be the world's greatest debater, and anybody who come for me, coming for you. Anytime you talk against Kamala Prasad Bisesa, he will come and stand up and, yeah. And all I put in the comment, as I told you all, when he put out this post supporting her nonsense, that statement that she put out, and I asked a simple question. Since we're talking about hypocrisy, because in the post that he put out, he was chastising Amory Brown for his chastisement of Prasad Bisesa. And I simply said, since we're talking about hypocrisy, The transgender hairstylist from San Fernando that Prasad Bisesa put to serve as a temporary senator in the parliament, in the Senate, which bathroom did he or she use? Since Prasad Bisesa is against or vehemently opposed to big hardback men using the same bathroom, the same toilet as women and little girls. And subsequent to that, Mr. D'Souza, whatever it is, you see, and she's talking about pronouns, came out and said she uses the female bathroom and that she has never encountered any discomfort having run into or encountered anybody in the restroom. How you know that? You ask them, ma'am, so do you mind if I use this restroom? Do you have any issues with the fact that I'm biologically a man dressed as a woman in the female restroom? Did she do that? No. But you come and say there's never been an issue, right? But Prasad Bisesa put that as one of her 20 points. She put that. And since she's so against the woke agenda and the woke culture of the Biden administration, encouraging, I want to ask her, the Biden administration was lucidly clear with respect to their stance as it comes to women's rights, and more importantly, a woman's right to decide over her own body, specific reference to the issue of abortions, right? Trump's position is we repeal Roe v. Wade and we will leave it up to the states to decide whether or not they support legislation to allow a woman to make a decision. Some states have made it abundantly clear they are pro-choice, and therefore, even if you become pregnant because it's as a result of rape, as a result of incest, even if it is that it may be a situation where the mother's life might be at risk because of the pregnancy, that they are not allowing it. And these stringent laws have resulted in a situation where even when women come in having presented with a miscarriage, that the doctors are reluctant to treat them in a way that could be defined as them having performed an abortion. And it has resulted in the loss of life of a number of women in the United States. I want to ask Prasad Bisesa, what is your position on that? More specifically, what is the position of your husband, Gregory Bisesa, with respect to pro-choice? Is he pro-choice or is he pro-life, Dr. Bisesa? Because, there is information out in the public domain, allegedly, right, that Dr. Bisesa was pro-choice. Yeah, it's your choice if you want to have an abortion, no problem. I just asking, when you sit down watching Fox News and listening to these clowns on Fox News, and that issue comes up, what is Dr. Bisesa's position? Does he support pro-choice, or is he now pro-life? Okay? Read between the lines. A word to the wise is sufficient. She can't answer that. Wouldn't answer that. Right? But there's rumors out there about Dr. Bisesa and whether he's pro-choice or pro-life. But anyway, I digress. All right? Coming back to the article that I was reading. It's interesting to note as well, things like this, Kevin Ramner, I'm not going to post up on his Facebook page, right? Okay. And he, what seems, is their leader's choice to replace Rushton Parry and Mayaro, has designs on being this country's energy minister once again. What a disaster. Where did I reach? Of course, Saudi Arabia would not be guaranteed to heed a request by President Trump to expand oil production and to bring down global oil prices. The US president's appearance via video link at the World Economic Forum marked his first address to a global audience. He used the platform to insist that companies around the world manufacture their products in the United States or face bruising tariffs on imported goods entering the American market. There were a few stony faces as executives left the hall after the speech, but some were happy. A powerful speech, said one. I liked it. I thought it was really good, said a delegate from the United States. A lot of it made sense, common sense. He's just looking for fair trade. But one Swiss executive, though, was very downbeat. It's nothing new, but it's clear what he wants to do, he said. Am I happy? No, I am not happy. I think it is bad for the world. Trump has also said that he would demand an immediate drop in interest rates, which he said had led to deeper deficits and resulted right. This begins with confronting the economic chaos caused by the failed policies of the last administration, he said. So it's bad for the world. I want to know if Prasad Bisesa supports that. Because you ain't supporting Dragon. Dragon cannot dance or must not dance under the PNM. But the Dragon cannot and will not dance under you. because Maduro not interested in that baila, right? He not interested in that. He not interested in doing no foxtrot, no tango, no nothing with you, based on your utterances and your slander of the man for the past few years, since 2018 and before. All right? So it is in your best interest for Donald Trump to enunciate his policies with respect to Venezuela and be forceful in respect of sanctions. And so you could use that as an excuse. Trinidad and Tobago needs Dragon. We need Lauren Manatee. Well, Manatee is ours, so Manatee will be coming on stream nevertheless. But we need Lauren. Lauren is about 7.2 trillion cubic feet of gas, natural gas. 7.2. I keep saying between that Lauren Manatee field alone is almost the equivalent of our total proven reserves here, which was a few months ago was 11 point something, is most likely less than that now. So we have an opportunity to double our natural gas production. And you see the price of natural gas has been going up because of all these cold snaps that have been taking place, particularly in North America. Snow in Florida. Snow in Florida. Who would have thunk, right? Record snow in places like Texas and all of these areas. So they need natural gas for heating. And so the prices have been going up. If you're looking at the prices now, as Stuart Young would have told us, don't look necessarily at those prices that we see on CNC3, which showing $4 and something, whatever, Henry Hub, as they say. But the prices that we are getting on the Asian market, which is much higher, thanks to the negotiation skills of Keith Rowley and Stuart Young, right? UNC don't like to talk about that. They really don't talk about that. All they keep talking about is in-border gas and in-border oil, and we need to create incentives for the energy companies to come and drill in Trinidad and Tobago's waters. Well, let me tell them something, which they ought to know. That when oil prices are low, there is no incentive for the energy companies to come and spend hundreds of millions of dollars to drill. Unless it is, again, you're giving them sweetheart concessions to write off any money that they spend to drill, and especially if they don't find oil or gas. But they're not going and spend the money to take no final investment decision, to just come and look. When we know it, we know it have gas there, and we know Lauren, we know Dragon, all right? We know the gas is there. 200 trillion cubic feet of gas, it is there, we know it. But you want to tell us, no, forget that, bypass that, don't study that now. Come and see if you could find in Trinidad waters. We can't guarantee it, we don't know, we're not sure, but come and still look for it now. Yeah, but it have right there. I know it there. I just need to establish the infrastructure, and yeah, we're gonna forget that now. We and Maduro, no friend. Forget that. You want you to come here and look and see if you find it. That is their posture and that is their position, right? So even if they buy into that and they come and they drill and they look for, that is not gonna become. Even if they find, they need to establish whether the quantities are commercially viable and so on. That is not gonna happen by 2027. Right? That is not going to happen by 2027. But that is their position. Now, if Trump succeeds in getting the OPEC countries to increase output and cause the price of oil to fall, their plan out the door. Because BP and Shell are coming to waste no money here to look for no oil that is $25 and $30 a barrel. They're not interested in that. It doesn't make commercial sense for them to waste money to do that. Right? So they'll just say, I'll be a hold off on that now. Yeah, thanks, but yeah. And then what? You plan to cut corporate tax, which is one of the major contributors to the government revenues today. That is why, as the minister said, cash flow issues. But the UNC continues to talk that and ask them, how do you plan to generate revenue should you come into office in 2025? The current administration is telling you we can depend on Venezuelan gas, right? We can depend on that. Yes, we need to diversify the economy, but that can't happen overnight. It cannot happen overnight. Look, in fact, I saw an article in yesterday's newspaper, I think it was the Express or one of them, that St. Vincent recorded a 25% increase in tourist arrivals because of, sandals. The sandals that were supposed to be in Tobago, finished, because it finished, when they decided to abandon Tobago and they went to St. Vincent, so it's finished. 25% increase in tourist arrivals for 2024. Not just because sandals is there, no, but because of the marketing efforts of sandals. So sandals is pushing St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a tourist destination because you have your facility there and you need to make money. So you need the people to come. That aggressive push at no cost to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We could have had that here. We could have had that in Tobago. But no, they didn't want it. We want transparency and we want probity, but all you only know those words when you PNM in office. But you don't know it when it is that they're in office, right? No call for transparency and so on, and the MOU, and we wanted, you need to tell us, and all of this foolishness. Long story short, no Sanders. So we have two Trinidadians, prominent Trinidadian businessmen who are now sitting on the board of Sanders, and we hope that they would use their good office to be able to maybe persuade Mr. Adam Stewart to, take a second look at Tobago now. We need it. And maybe he might cast his gaze. But we should have had the largest Sandals beaches resorts in Tobago, and we don't. Airport almost finished. But the room stock in Tobago remains the same as is. And the quality ain't all that great. There's still some facilities, but pretty expensive. But the more reasonable ones, well, we're going to do. Right? They have no answer for that. The economists, the media not going to the economists and ask them, so what do you think of the UNC's proposals to generate income? They're asking them that. And they're not commenting on that. Right? They want to put question to everybody in the PNM, but you wouldn't go and ask Prasad Bisesa. All she keeps saying is read our National Economic Transformation Plan from since 2020. Right? 5 years outdated. When you go and you read through that, and I've rubbished it before, and I will do it again in the not too distant future. To highlight for you all the foolishness, there is nothing in there for any type of sustainable revenue generation. Nothing. Everything, private sector. We will invite the private sector. We will invite the private sector. Okay, anything else? Just going to continue what it is that you did between 2010 to 2015. Where over this space of 4 years, 8 energy companies lost over $10 billion in revenue because of the incompetence of the man that you want to bring back to serve as Minister of Energy. A man who takes pride in posting on his Facebook page negative stories that point to or suggest that the Dragon Gas deal may be in jeopardy. He takes pride in that, in posting those things. But when it is that you have good news, such as Shell taking a final investment decision in any of these gas fields that existed while they were there, these gas fields were there. They didn't pop up overnight. They didn't pop up in the last 9 years, even though members of the media and other entities love to use the base year as 2015. So apparently Trinidad and Tobago didn't exist before 2015. But all of these gas fields, they were there between 2010 to 2015. Some of them have been discovered since the 1980s. Nothing was done, right? Nothing was done, but it took this administration to come now and get these companies to finally make a final investment decision in these things, which is supposed to help the economy in a couple of years' time. And these people who are trying to scuttle that have no alternative, none. And just as it is now taking place in the United States, where they were warned, Project 2025. If it is that Mr. Trump gets into office, Kamala Harris kept repeating it on day one. He's going to have a list of enemies that he wants to go after. I am going to have a to-do list. She kept repeating that. They didn't take her on. No, it's just fear-mongering, and Mr. Trump's not going to do that, and he's going to make America great again. And the man kept saying, if all they put me in office, they asked him the question, the January 6th rioters, are you going to pardon them? Well, maybe I would, whatever, because they are patriots and so on. What did he do? On the very first day, pardon all 1,600 of them. Some of them, the worst among the lots, who were supposed to be serving 22 and 18 years. The leaders of some of these group, Proud Boys and the likes. Right? Unleash them. And they are showing no remorse. None. Only one lady who we gave a pardon, offered a pardon to, and she said, I don't want it. I am guilty. I am guilty of being misled by the things that Mr. Trump had said. And I went down there under false falsehoods. And she thought she was doing something right. And then she admitted it was wrong. She pleaded guilty, and she has not accepted his pardon. She said, I deserve everything that I got, and I'm never going to make that mistake again. But they were warned. All of the Hispanics, they were warned. The man kept talking about mass deportations. Well, I figured, he just talking. He mean that. He just saying that just to get votes. But don't worry, I supported him. I go and give him my vote. Yeah, they went and they gave him your vote. And in the first week, mass deportations, you're making joke, right? A whole plane of immigrants that they tried to take to Mexico, and Mexico say, hey, hold up, not here. Go somewhere else. Forget that. That arrangement cost $865,000 US, and they were not able to land in Mexico. So find somewhere else now. We're not having that here. They were warned. Now you go on social media all over the place. They're doing videos and crying, and oh, they're so sorry, and they didn't know, and they regret, and they're hiding because they're concerned. You're seeing people putting up posts about their children who go into grade school, asking them if they're going to get deported because they know that their parents are immigrants and all of these things, and the parents have to give them reassurance. No, we have our papers, we have our documents. Young children asking these questions. But ICE is now looking to go into schools, elementary schools, and so on, to take people's children, breaking up families. I saw a video with a woman who had, last week, had twins via C-section. And the woman is recovering in the speed. This is like a day or two after she had the twins, recovering from a C-section. She had an appointment. The family had an appointment to regularize their immigration status. And because she went into premature labor, the appointment had to be rescheduled. And the appointment was, I think, for the same week. Unfortunately for them, administration changed. ICE didn't care. They take the woman and the baby and send everybody back to Mexico. But remember what they were saying? No, it's only the criminals we're going after. Only the bad men and the bad people that we're going after. But those persons who are here and who are productive citizens, we're not going to touch them. No. Really? I saw somebody did a party there. ICE come knocking on my door and they say, ICE, open up. Man said, no, I'm an American citizen. They said, well, okay, well, we have a couple of questions to ask you to prove. And they said, how many points to score a touchdown, something in football? He gave the answer. They asked him some other question, and then the last question, they told him, say Walmart. I know they have the accent. And then as soon as he said how he pronounced it, they realized that they kick open the door. Right? But tons and tons of videos are coming out from persons in the United States who are in the space of less than a week regretting their vote. Now we are seeing where immigrants who work on farms and so on not showing up for work because they're afraid if they go and they show up for work that ICE is going to come and raid their workplace and throw them in the Maria and take them to the nearest airstrip to put them on a plane, right? These big army planes, put them on a plane and carry them somewhere. The families don't even know. They're just separating families just like that, right? Trump said he could just look at a migrant and tell that the person is bad. Really, sir? Okay, but yesterday you look in the mirror every morning and you will see. That's what's going on. So we here, who love to import a lot of stuff from the US, particularly food stuff, because remember, our food import bill is currently $7 billion. $7 billion. Prices are set to go up in the United States because of shortages, because the people, the immigrants, who's supposed to be working in the fields, you know, the black jobs that they came to America to take, the black jobs that he was talking about, those jobs. They didn't come to take white jobs because they don't qualify for white jobs. They came for the black jobs. So the black's supposed to be out in the field. You know, that's why you all were brought to the United States in the first place. That's how you came here. That was his purpose. So yeah, you all need to take back your jobs of your ancestors. Don't let these immigrants come here and take that. You own that. That's yours. That's your legacy. That's your heritage. So now, 75% of the immigrant workers didn't show up for work last weekend on farms in California and across the United States. So you have grapes and stuff and things that are just there, ready to be harvested, and nobody to harvest them. I saw a video with a trucker, says he goes to California to get produce, you know, stuff like broccoli and this and that and all these different things, and normally he would take in his truck about 25 to 35 crates. He said on this trip he was supposed to take 13 crates and they didn't even have that. Didn't have that. He left empty. Shortages because the workers not showing up for work. So when those shortages take place and the prices go up in the US and we import it from the US, what do you think going to happen here? Cost of living going to go down? Yeah, because it's expensive there, but when we buy it, it's cheap. And when it reaches Trinidad, the price drops. I wonder what Prasad Bisesa has to say about that. Less than a week. Is that a disastrous policy? What do you think, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa? You want to retract those two press releases that you sent out, or you're going to stand your ground? Since that's your favorite phrase, stand your ground. So you're standing your ground on that? You who love to tell the population that the price of the cost of living has gone up is because of Rowley and the PNM, this wicked and evil PNM, will put you back in office I want to ask you, if you remove VAT on all these food items, would that make it cheaper? Because Americans balling, right? And it is being produced there and they balling. So when it reaches here and we have to apply all of the various different charges to it for shipping and all these things, so it mark up, so it's more expensive here than it is there, madam. I want to ask you, you standing your ground on that? You continue to support that? That is good governance, but Biden, his administration was a disaster to the world. Is this somebody, you see, is this somebody that you all want to put back in office later on this year? The Americans didn't learn. So the new acronym is FAFO, F-A-F-O, F around and find out. Well, plenty of them F around and they're finding out now. And as I keep telling you guys, your vote is non-refundable. So when you play fast and loose with it, and the administration that you install ends up doing things that you didn't think, but that you knew, you were warned and you chose to ignore it, you cannot go back to the EBC and say, what now, make a mistake, I get back my voter. It works, so you had to wait 5 years, 3 months and 14 days to get another opportunity. That voter's already, you can't get that back. Non-refundable. Hard luck. And Americans, a lot of them, are learning that the hard way. Some of them are still, who voted for him, still want to, but it's only a matter of time before he does something that is going to impact them. Again, I saw one, and that I've been going through threads. Threads has been taking up my time. One of them was proud to vote for Trump. She got a job in Texas. She lives in another state, right? Gave up her apartment, she and the husband. Husband works remotely, so he could work anywhere. She resigned from her job, and they pack up their stuff, and they're ready to go to Texas, only to get a call. Hold up. Because of the federal hiring freeze that has been implemented by the new administration, your job is on hold indefinitely until further notice. So, yeah. But don't worry, we will give you a call if and when the hiring freeze is lifted. So now she has no apartment, no job because you resign, and no job because there's a hiring freeze. So you're not earning any income, and you regret it, and you want to come on social media to cry, and oh, you didn't know, and this and that, and you think, and you regret. Really live in your regret. And then have plenty more like that. Now, plenty Chinese across there. There for years, the paper's not in order. Right? But they're supporting Trump. Yeah, we for Trump. It's not only Latinos and Hispanics they're rounding up, right? So now some of them complaining they have to be working with their documents, they have to work with their passport, and they have to work with whatever other documents. So in case ICE pull them over, they could show, yes, I'm here legally. Thank goodness when I go, I don't stay for very long. Maximum I might stay is 10 days. I'm due to travel later this week. I was, in fact, it worked out well. The screening worked out well because we were only informed on Friday that screening is tomorrow. So I was trying to figure out when to book my flight. But when I got out, it was easy pickings. Yeah, so just letting you all know. But still, I'll try to do my live in any event. I won't be away for that long, just about a week. So I had to make sure I walk in with my passport and thing now. In case now, profile. Yes. I just land. I ain't staying long. I'm not staying long, sorry. Yeah, don't wrong me up. Yeah, I'll leave just now. Don't worry. I just say for just a little bit. I just come to do some business and I'm going back home. Yeah, so you don't need to grab me by the scruff of my neck and put me in the marry and carry me down. Carry my documents here. Yeah? But they were warned. And citizens of Trinidad and Tobago were also warned. You have been warned. You are being warned. And plenty earlier, Rowley this and Young that and is 1% and all kind of thing, and Stuart Young is a Chinese and the PNM supposed to be African party, and I can't vote for that, and me supporting that. Our friends on here who like to come every day to argue about why Stuart Young and Stuart Young didn't do this and Stuart Young didn't do that and all of this different thing. And you are going to allow your prejudice to cause you to either not vote or to vote for somebody else. Couldn't care 2 votes, they didn't care about their own, they care about you. And then after the fact now, when you put them into office and they start the same nonsense because they emulate Donald Trump and whatever policies, so they're too damn lazy to come up with their own policies. So we need policies. We having a cabinet meeting in the pink palace. So let's come. We watching Fox News all day. We watching Go on Truth Social. Take notes. Bring all your notepad and take copious notes. Do your research on Trump policies, because that is what, if it work in there, it work here. You don't need to bust our brains. Yeah, because Donald Trump is a smart man. He's a billionaire. All of that. He launched a meme coin last week or something, mere days before his inauguration. Price shoot up $75. I don't like Bitcoin. Started at $6 and went up. All went and invested money. Yeah, run down that. It's Trump. I think price will go in and make a mint. Give me 1 second. Yes, now. That has been dropping like a stone. What's the price now? $29.12. Down from a high of 75. So anybody who would have jumped on the train trying to make a quick buck when it was 50 something and 60 something dollars holding their head and ball now. Yeah? And his wife will want to launch one too. And the same thing. So they make a ton of money. The old days, sell, they get the cash, and then it start a crash. So whoever on the tail end, sorry for you. Problems. Problems. But she's supporting that. I don't know why she didn't leverage her house. She should go and take some money and leverage her house and invest in Trump meme coin. She should do that. Show us. This is the same woman who told us, don't invest in NIF. It's a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme. Well, everybody who invests in that Ponzi scheme, they're happy that they didn't take her advice. If she tell you to sit down, stand up. They adopted that approach, and today they've been receiving dividends consistently in their bank account every 6 months. Meanwhile, the fools who took her advice, yeah, there's a Ponzi scheme, you put my money there, having regrets now. How I could get in there, boy? Calling me to ask me, yeah, this NIF thing, I could still. No, you need to find somebody who have shares in it and ask them if they're willing to sell. That's the only way you could get into. You missed the train. You missed the first train, the second train, the third train. All right? So come and ask me. I can't help you. I don't know anybody who have and willing to sell. So hard luck for you. That is the type of advice. An economic dunce. But nobody's asking her how it is she plans to earn revenue. For all these things that she promising, put me back in office and we will do this and we will do that and we will build this and we will build that. How are you doing that? With what money? So expect and brace yourself that if, God forbid, they get back into office, what can we expect to hear? For 5 years. Well, you know, Rowley and them thief out the treasury and they don't have no money. So yes, we promised to give all of this and give all of that, but they don't have no money because they thief out the treasury. And the $3 billion missing. The $3 billion that we still asking, has the Auditor General met with the central bank yet? Can't get an answer to that. Right? By Friday of this week, the Ministry of Finance is required to submit another report, last year's report. But the report for the year before is still outstanding. One of the biggest issues last year, and up to now, we're in limbo. We don't know. we don't have a clue. Apparently, that's not important anymore. It served its purpose. But rest assured, if it is not resolved, that is going to be one of the issues that the UNC will be going into the elections with, right? Because it resonates with people. The fact that people are still talking about that on social media, it is unresolved. That meeting should have taken place by now, but we don't know. And the supporters not asking. They're asking, Jaiwanti, you met with the central bank because remember you make a big issue about it in your affidavit that you requested a meeting and they turn you down. But in September they told you, okay, we're willing to meet. It's almost 5 months now. What's going on? You met? What did they tell you? Did they say that the $2.6 billion, it was really the error, or was it something else? I bet you if it was something else, we would have known. If it wasn't true, if Imbut had lied, that would have done leak to the UNC long time. Kamala would have put it up on the big screen. Hey, look, back end. Auditor General met with the central bank and this is this. And contrary to what Imbut told us, that is not true. We would have known. They quiet on that. Why isn't it that they're pressing for this meeting or to inquire? They love to file freedom of information requests for everything. But none of them are filing that. Philip is filing that. International not willing to file freedom of information request, but you want to send to NCC to find out how much they spend on tent and all of these different things. But you are not interested. There's $2.6 billion that all you say thief and missing. You're not interested in getting that resolved because if you genuinely believe that it was stolen, then this is something that you would want to get evidence for so that Rowley and Imbut could make a jail. That is something that would be a big thing in an election campaign. But they ain't talking about it. All of a sudden, that rest. When last you hear about Jaiwanti? When last the media asked a question about Jaiwanti, you see she make a headline. When last? It's not important anymore. Why? Because we don't want to stir up a hornet's nest now to help the PNM. But support them. Vote for them. They have the country's best interest at heart. All of them lining up, waiting. All of them on the edge of the swamp. Just waiting. See them 2 seats in Tobago? PNM have some work to do in Tobago. I just say, a word to the wise is sufficient. A word to the wise is sufficient. See what happened to Watson? Poor Watson, get put out. And he vexed. But you look for that. You created that creature that is Farley Augustine. You started to talk about secession and all this dotishness. You ain't want no chief secretary stupidness. You Tobago, you want a prime minister for Tobago, and you want your own this and your own that, and we don't want no Trinidad customs and all that. Everything you wanted. But you put up Farley as a front to fool the voters in Tobago because you know your reputation was stink and dirty. Right? And they would not have you back then when Tobago could claim the moral high ground vis-a-vis Trinidad. They say, well, in Tobago, we don't do this, and that is not how we operate, and that is Trinidad, that type of behavior, Trinidad. We don't have that here. We don't tolerate that sort of, Yesterday was yesterday, that gone. So when they could still claim the moral high ground, right? You fool them, and you put Farley as the face, thinking that you would have been calling the shots behind the scene, sitting down in the deputy chief secretary chair. But you didn't realize the monster that you created. He fooled you, he outsmart you. And what happened? He schooled you. And now the great Watson Duke is a has-been. You had to be calling press conference thing, oh, you're going and you're calling on the voters of Tobago to vote them out. And vote them out. And really, Watson? Your political currency is worth less than the Bolivar. Worth less than pesos, sir. You said you were going to be the mayor of Port of Spain. How did that work out? You said you were going to be the prime minister. How did that working out? You were hoodwink, outsmarted. The same thing he complaining do a whole life to talk about how Leroy Batiste outsmarted him. The same Leroy Batiste that you install as a backdoor president. But all of them who talking about Rowley and dictatorship, and he ain't consult the people. All of you who in the PSA and paying your dues every month. Right? Every month dues coming out of your paycheck. Did he consult you all before he put Leroy there? Did you all complain? The dictatorship? And we ain't have a say, and the membership, and need to consult the membership. Were you consulted when he put the backdoor president there? No. But you're complaining now, well, they want to install Stuart Young and then consulting the people. All of a sudden, we know what consultation. And that's why he licking his wounds now. So Farley lick him up, Leroy lick him up. Can't get a pension. Poor soul. You know, so whatever little pittance he have left over from the millions in contracts that he got, his wife's company got, while the PP was in office, I guess he living off of that. But you look for that, Watson. You caught that wholesale. Farley do you that. A little titty something your old boy here went and buy a suit for. So he could look the part. So you could fool people. But you know what they say about karma? Right now, you getting served up a hefty portion of karma for your foolishness. I will see. But we appreciate whatever assistance you could lend in Tobago to get rid of them, right? Not to be replaced by you, of course, but any little damage that you could do, we appreciate it and we thank you in advance. Yeah? Thank you for contributing to the cause, Mr. Duke. Yeah. What's the time there? There's one more thing I wanted to touch on quickly. So as is to be expected, Ralph Maraj had nothing to say about Kamala Persad-Bissessa's utterances. He has no opinion on the 2 press releases that she puts out, or she put out last week. Instead, this week's article is entitled War in Trumpland, and of course he goes on to talk about MAGA and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all of that. No mention Mark Zuckerberg and all these people, Jeff Bezos and the like. And this is what he does. This is what he does, right? People expecting, because if it was Dr. Rowley had done something like that, he would have raked Dr. Rowley over the coals. But Persad-Bissessa did it. And he will pretend he didn't see it. And hope that by putting this article in place today, that he will benefit from the 9-day wonder, right? So by next week, hopefully, Persad-Bissessa will behave herself, and that would be a moot point. That story dead. So you don't need to write about that. So instead, he comes with this foolishness. So we're not jamming Rowley this week, okay? To demonstrate what a hypocrite that he is. Not surprised at all. And I hope Darren will pull him up on that tomorrow, if Darren is there. Pull him up on it. And let's see what is his opinion. Does he think that what Prasad Bisasa did was diplomatically correct as a former foreign affairs minister? Do you think that is diplomatically correct, Ralph? Because you are well placed. You are well placed to give a comment on that. What are your thoughts? I have no thoughts. We know that. I'll not comment on that matter. Well, you can't do like last week and say, well, I stand by what I wrote and I have no more to say. Well, you ain't write nothing on Kamla this week. So it have nothing for you to stand by. So you need to speak. So let's hear you, you blasted hypocrite. But anyway, it's not here I wanted to touch on. UNC's victory, the necessary antidote to the PNM's revival, written by Professor Selwyn Kojo, was Eric does say sellout Kojo. A UNC victory in the forthcoming election is the necessary antidote to heal the fissures that have erupted in the PNM's political structure. Only a UNC victory can counteract the fiendish act of PNM's hierarchy of selling the party to the highest financial bidders. The PNM takes this will necessitate that the PNM takes a more careful look at itself, especially in the absence of the leader of our grief and sorrow. He goes on to try and Mama Guy the PNM, talking about the PNM has achieved many notable achievements and so on. The party must recognize that the leader's hegemony over the party has diminished its internal strength and external appeal, even preventing it from electing the political leader its members want. And again, this is the level of disrespect and deceit that I can't take from these people. Dr. Rowley remains the political leader, the duly elected political leader until, right? He can stay there until 2026. Stuart Young is not the leader. So when he writes this nonsense about even preventing it from electing the political leader its members want. There is an election upcoming, right? And the members will have an opportunity to select their leader. The choice that was made among the parliamentary caucus was for an interim prime minister, not a political leader of the PNM. Dr. Rowley remains the political leader, but this dishonest individual will come and write this diatribe, this foolishness. The same thing Dr. Rowley warned you all about yesterday, right? Wolves in sheep clothing. Stuart Young is presumed to be the prime minister in waiting in 2016. The Express stated that Stuart Young appears to have taken over as the government spokesman at the weekly post-cabinet news conference. In June 2016, at the Moundor Community Center, the leader declared that every team needs a Gary Sobers and that Young was his Gary Sobers. And he goes on to attack Stuart Young for a few paragraphs well. Young learned his politics from the leader who revels in the cussing style of Prospero the colonizer, and Camille Robinson Regis, the mother of the movement, as Young called her. He knew little about the grit of Florence Guy, Ma Guy, Isabel Tichet, Norma Lewis, or Muriel McDonough Davidson, and the grand dames of the movement. Sobers didn't become great because the 3 Ws proclaimed him to be so. He became great because of what he accomplished. Young was vaulted into prominence because the leader, who speaks ex cathedra on all matters of doctrine and faith in the PNM, handpicked him for the position. And again, he goes on for another few paragraphs about Stuart Young again. Young has sat side by side with the leader, initiating energy deals, etc., and all these activities accorded him his accounting and legal background. All these activities accorded with his accounting and legal background. And I might add that when Stuart Young left St. Mary's College in 1993, he won a gold medal for accounting, right? I think in the regional exams, gold medal. So the man bright, and not Norway bright, okay? That is why he was contemplating accounts, and he was contemplating at one time joining the priesthood, and then he ended up becoming a lawyer. The leader outfoxed his colleagues politically. He made them focus on the shadows rather than what they call process. Rather than Young's suitability, substance to run the country's affairs. Avery Sinanan, a well-respected senior counsel, suggested that Young is not the political knight in shining armor who will rescue the country from its calamitous journey as it careens inexorably to failed nation status. This was brave of him, and he will never receive another state brief from this government again. And as I told you all, I intended to treat with that Avery Sinanan article, and I still intend to do so. Just don't have time for it today. Yeah, because these guys need to be called out on their hypocrisy. But no comments on Fasad Bissasa's statements. But again, Selwyn Kojo, and it's no surprise that the Express continues to provide him space to publish this trash, this garbage, week after week after week. He has nothing else to write about other than to attack the leader of our grief and sorrow, as he calls Dr. Rowley, right? This so-called intellectual professor. I don't know what he professing. Only a set of foolishness. He goes on to say none of the PNM's parliamentary members acted honorably in the PNM fiasco. Although they all possess the title honorable, I don't know how they will recoup their losses, but their inability to act decisively leaves them in the shallows and in misery. And this man is the poster boy for misery himself. All you're suffering from didn't get. I thought I would, but I didn't get. And so you're vexed with Rowley because he didn't cast his gaze upon you and give you maybe some diplomatic posting that you were hoping for, some state board work, but you vex, right? And only vitriol in your pen. Waste that time. I ain't even going to deal no more with you for today because I don't have the time. Let me just open the lines for a little bit. 770-1763. So we have a neutral, goes by the name of Dave Arjun. He says, Minister of Man, wife caught him in a certain position with a soldier boy asking for a friend. Okay. Yeah, but I have a lot of questions we could ask about your great leader, my friend. Starting with, she wants to talk about meritocracy. And under Biden, you had DEI hiring and so on, and persons weren't being hired on meritocracy. How was Rishmi Ramnarayan hired? Was it on meritocracy? Because that's not what we hear. According to Cabal, it was based on other things. It had nothing to do with meritocracy. Dave, I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for the PNM. Is it true that Rishmi's appointment to such a lofty position had nothing to do with meritocracy? Or did it a certain type of meritocracy, which might lend support to... Let me not go there. Let me not go there. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon to you, Mr. Romain. Good afternoon to the callers, the listeners of another segment, Facts and Stubborn Things. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all the best, and I know that you will bring it home.
Thank you.
Right, in the screening process. And I know everybody wishing you best of luck, but I know that you will bring it home, right? With that being said, no, that Arjun fella who wanted to jump out himself and tell about Minister of Man and wherever, like he forgets it's a councillor down in Manahambri, Princess Town Corporation, who was sending pics to a 15-year-old boy. That is not what you call it, Arjun. So you see, we don't understand what is really the reality. When you want to throw stones on people's house, make sure you have the glass houses, Arjun, because the UNC is an LGBTQIA organization, because they represent everything. But is your leader would have come out and said that she's going to support the support from that community?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you coming to say now? The minister, so are you insinuating that the Minister of Public Utilities is like the ones that in the UNC down in the Princess Town Corporation? And in this he in rooms at the level 5s. Right? So here what Arjun, battle your lane, stay in the place. Like I feel you will be envious of the minister, you know, it's not you. They want anyway, he's an entity right now. Right. I want to jump on to Selwyn Kobo. Right? Selwyn Kobo feels that he is entitled. No, is your right? We ain't saying no. But you see, when they're trying to make sense out of nonsense, oh gosh, try to fool you a little bit there. You telling me, right, that the UNC is the answer to this country amid what is going on right now, right? Like he forgot what happened in 2010 to 2015. So you rather see the citizens of a country that you born here and bred and grew up here, right, to be perished under a woman who said, if we fail, blood go run on the streets, right? You rather see a woman like that to be prime minister who can't even properly walk. But let's have a conversation with dignitaries outside Trinidad and Tobago. But you want her to come out and say that Trinidad and Tobago is not an ATM machine? You're going to malign the Biden administration? You're going to malign Nicolas Maduro? So you see, this man doesn't understand what this old superior Zamwati continuously doing in this country. It's not about her, you're damaging the image of Trinidad and Tobago at the end of the day. It's not about you and the UNC party. It's about the citizens and the country at large. So by you doing these things and trying to provocate the Venezuelan president by saying what you say, first time in my life I ever see somebody else talk about somebody else's problems in a different country. It's only in Trinidad and Tobago, but then again in the UNC. So you'll expect anything to get political power. You understand? She will do anything but means. Dominic, if that woman has to be the devil tonight to get power, she will do it.
Correct.
That's telling you how desperate this woman is and the UNC. Right? She will do anything means possible. If it's a burn down the country to be prime minister again, which will never happen, not now, not then, and not in the future, she will do anything possible. But I want something to tell the superior Zamwati, stay down superior and continue Zamien in the Pink Palace. I just normally ask a question about Rishmi, about thing. No, I didn't say it. It's Jaquana said it. You understand? Jaquana said it. The love affair is alleged. Right? So I don't know if Zambi passed to get the position. I just asking questions. So by you supporting the LGBTQIA community, and you know that won't sit well with Donald Trump, so she's trying to play both sides. But then again, we have a he, she, it, or they, who was a temporary senator in the parliament. So, Arjun, talk to your leader and your party before trying to throw stones on Minister Marvin Gonzalez, right? Dominic, good program. Best of luck in the screening and we will talk.
Thank you, sir. Oh, boy. Let's see here if I get this one. Just get this here. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Dominic.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, good afternoon. The callers discuss the facts and stubborn things. And congratulations on your being accepted by a party group, because they said that a party group has to nominate you. So I would think that you were nominated by a party group.
Yes, I was.
Yes, so I want to congratulate you, and I know that you will do well when you have to go before the screening committee on Monday.
Yes.
So I wish you all the best, and you know you always have my support.
Thank you.
Along with a lot of other people, and we know that you can do the job. We know that you're up for the task, and we put everything else in the Most High's hand.
Indeed.
I just want to tell some, like Arjun and others, that the time that you're calling people hungry and all that, I want you to remember something. When this PNM government would have introduced the school feeding program in Trinidad and Tobago, it afforded a lot of people of Indian descent an opportunity that they can get food to eat. And that is not something I'm saying to humiliate or anything. I'm just stating a fact there. So there's record to show that they said that the days that, because it used to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the days that those were allocated to the box lunch, that the children of Indian descent would come to school. That's when you see a high rise and come to school, and they would carry home the box lunch for the parents to eat. And you know what is nice also about it? Because we work together hand in hand. The vegetables that their parents would have grown, the bhaji and the pakcha and all those things, were used to implement in the school feeding program so that they get to use local grown products. So it was working hand in hand. I'm just showing you this country always had it where the races work together hand in hand, despite whatever issues we have. So again, this conversation about people always hungry and all that, there are a lot of people in the Indian community, East Indian community, who also have challenges with hunger. You see them when they go and line up just like us, whatever food basket or whatever hamper, or whatever social programs they have, because it is for all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And with regards to this continuous conversation about Minister Stuart Young, I even see that Dr. Rolly mentioned the fact that I think his mom, is from Penal. They're looking at that too. But if the man's mother, Priscilla Hossain, I think it was from Penal, she's of Indian descent. What is wrong with Dr. Rolly mentioned it? He must what? He mustn't speak about his mother now. And his father's of Chinese descent and they live somewhere around Henry Street side or anywhere there. So what is wrong about talking about that? And other people just talk about their comment, how they upbringing and whatever situation they go through in life. So why shouldn't he mention it? And again, it shows you that people are so disingenuous because when they're telling us don't vote for the Chinese man, who is ironic, is also of Indian descent, but all they want us to vote for Indian woman who is not of our race. So you see the conflicting views that they have. So that tells me that the issue is not so much about Minister Stuart Young's ethnicity. It has to do with the fact that they know he could continue to bring change in this country, develop this country. And once he's able to do that, that UNC will not have a chance again in life to be a part of the governance structure because they have not brought nothing of development to this country. They have done nothing of worth. What we have been hearing is about corruption and some people seem to want to bury their head in the sand, but it is there in black and white. And as for giving jobs, June, we heard, I'm just asking you, that a lot of them women and thinking, I don't know if it's the kitty cat where Kamala catch and ain't catch how they end up getting work. But we have heard that day and she hasn't challenged it. And it seems to me, based on her conversation now, again, with joining with Donald Trump when he would have said, he recognized two genders. A couple of years ago, that is not what she had recognized, because she put the first transgender into the parliament and she would have been supporting legislations to make sure that those of the LGBT community would be accepted and get all the rights and all that. So again, that is the kind of people you all want as a leadership who just talks because it sounds good and popular. We're not interested in that. We have a country to run and all hands on deck. And the People's National Movement will be bringing it home come 2025 with Minister Stuart Young as the Prime Minister. And then when they have the election for political leader, that will be decided by the membership of the People's National Movement. But I am quite certain, as I end, all those who have been screened by the People's National Movement to contest the election, you tomorrow, God spare, and Minister Stuart Young, I am quite certain, along with Kareem Master and all the young ones, do not want to sit down in opposition for the next 5 years under UNC government. So every hand is on board and on deck to make sure the PNM wins convincingly. So hold all the emotions, get over it, and let me start to do the work because nobody wants a PNM in opposition with no UNC running things 2025 to 2030. Hell no. Dominic, congratulations again and all the best back.
Thank you, Jen. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hi, good day.
Hi.
Sunday to you.
And to you too.
So, what I have to say, I'm trying to be brief again. Trinidadians need to know their history. Very important. Trinidad is a country, and I'm specifically saying Trinidadians and not Trinidadians. Trinidad as an island has always been all-embracing. That everybody in the 1700s, there were very few people. They needed people to come in. French aristocrats, all sorts of people came in, slaves who had what, freed slaves, everybody came. And they assimilated to the people who were here and they created a culture. When slavery ended, before slavery ended in 1809, the first of the Chinese came. After us, after slaves, etc., they're the longest people, living people in the island are Chinese people. They assimilated, they acquired, they say to themselves, we know that. They're not all up in your face, right? But they contributed. When we needed more people, the Syrians came, Australians came, slaves from Australian state colonies came, all sorts of people came. They assimilated. Indian people came, they refused to assimilate. There are books that were written about that. I forget the name of this book I was reading. And the gentleman who was British who came to visit was walking around the island of Trinidad with all important things. And his comment was that everybody was nice, but Indian people were so very unpleasant and standoffish. I'm paraphrasing, right? I remember the name of the book. I will come back and call it so people can read for themselves. It wasn't us saying that, it was a visitor. When Tobago was in its distress, everybody asked the island of Trinidad if we wanted, Tobago was made a ward of Trinidad. And they asked for it because their planter class had wrecked the island. There was no money, there was nothing. Right? In the 1950s, with all of that going on, Eric Williams formed a party that consisted of Black people, white people, teachers, Chinese, who formed a party, won an election and took us forward and said, we are all one. You know who fought against it? Indian people. And at this point, I say Indian Hindu people, and not all of them. Right? They went to England to stop it. Right? And to this day, they are still fighting that assimilation. Hindu people. Tobago, instead of knowing their history, have always blamed Trinidad as if we did them something. And you're seeing the effects now, because if they themselves knew their history and understood, that nonsense that Duke was talking would not have even factored in. Where they were willing to destroy themselves, where they could have been making money after everything was set up for them to make money. But here them doing it, and Trinidadian doing it, because everything is Trinidad fault. They preferred for money to walk with. That's cutting off your nose to spoil your face for stupidity. And this is where we are today. We need to understand our history, understand where we fought, understand that Trinidadians are not like, for whatever reason, but people are free to do that. As a Trinidadian, I will fight, I will go along. I say, don't like that, I cool. Right? But I am a proud Trinidadian and proud Trinidadian. The UNC is primarily an Indian party, and I keep saying that. And they're primarily a Hindu party more than anything else. They don't care about anything, they care about nobody. Right? You're Hindu, you're good. And based on your skin coloring as a Hindu, you're revered more. And that is a fact. That is just based on their religion. They can't get back, they don't want to get past that, and so they have a problem with a black person being in charge. I want the Muslim population, Indian Muslim population, to pay close attention to how they are treated, right? And how they were treated. Well, that's I'm not going to start the session. From 1962 to 2010, they would look at the moon, eat, and I used to sit down and listen. They would come and talk, and if they didn't see the moon here, they would consult with Guyana to find the placement of the moon before Eid was declared, and they would not respect. across every administration. PNM was there for years. They lost, NAR came in, PNM came back, they moved out. Mr. Pandey, not my favorite person, I respect certain things he did. Mr. Pandey, he didn't have a problem. After running, PNM came back. And everybody expected that they knew what was best. What after? And the sector. Who decided that he would be declared on a Saturday when the whole world knew it was on a Sunday? But because she didn't want to give the day that would be allocated in respect to the Muslim population, she decided it was a Saturday. And they sat down and they took it. Because she was Indian? No. The Indian population has a great deal of angst and fighting, and they put it out on everybody else, but they're the ones who have the problem, and they need to sit down, think about what they're doing, and own up to the fact that the censor is not any good to them, definitely not any good to the population at large. And because of her grip on the UNC parties, the UNC is of no use to them. Right? Kamal Muhammad's wife died. They did not even come out and say a word, and that incensed me. Because I don't care that he was in the PNM party. He had his staff, because he left, and his daughter who was there left, that had nothing to do with it. Contributed to developing the country simply by being the woman she was. Emboldened her husband and fought her husband so that he could go out and do what he needed to do, so that their children could go out. The daughter became a lawyer and do all of that. And not one ounce of respect was paid by the United National Congress. That is telling to me, and I am not Muslim, so it's telling to the Muslim population as to where they stand within that party. You don't need that gauge. You see that level of thing that's going on, you need to get past that and keep moving forward. Okay? Stuart Young is a Trinidadian of Chinese Indian descent. Chinese have always contributed here. What's your emblem? Okay? Who was the Governor General? Who's the last Governor General? Face history and stop the nonsense about PNM is a black party. It's nonsense. PNM is a Trinidadian party. You have to be a part of it, but they help develop the country. You are free to disagree with things that they do, but you're not free to pull the country apart on your stupidity. And that is what the UNC is trying to do. Do not let them do it. Like Donald Trump, she needs to go to America. She can't go back to India and live with Donald Trump. And all of them who follow him need to go there too. And leave my lovely country alone. Better for them. Okay? Have a good day, John.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Dominic Rumi.
Brian.
First of all, I'd like to say congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
From your party members, and I'd like to wish you all the best and good luck. I'll be following extremely closely to your progress and, of course, your certification to be the candidate for the area.
I appreciate your optimism.
Area. I know that Lisa Morris Julian's shoes are very difficult to fill, but I know you will buy your own shoes and fill them according to how you go and how you go.
Correct.
I'm not trying to fill anybody else's. So best of luck today and tomorrow. And I know a lot of people will be supporting you as well. Dominic, sometimes many of us need to burn to learn. And sometimes many of us who get burnt and we see the scars of that burn still don't learn. Because, Dominic, I'll tell you why I'm saying this. We were all warned by Patrick Manning, the late great Patrick Manning. And you always say correctly, verbatim, she is not ready. And she will never be ready. because Donald Trump indicated that he will not be following the, what is this by the 2025 document that was written, that he said he knew nothing about. But today, we see he's following it letter by letter, word for word. What he talked was on the television last night, Dominic. Donald Trump has removed the inspectors general, all 18 of them. Those are the people in America who ensure that there's no fraud in state enterprises and so on, and that they follow the law and the Constitution. And anything that is found out, that those people will be held accountable. They have all been removed. Even those that was there since he was there, that he put when he was in his first inculcation, they have all been removed and fired. All. ICE has begun to step up, and they are taking anybody, as you rightly said, once you look as though you are not, you're taking your documents from you. So that they show, once you cannot produce documents, you're gone. It makes no difference what the law says or what the judges say. Donald Trump is moving hell and high water to ensure that there's only a white America. So all those people who decided not to vote for Kamala Harris are now feeling the pinch of being lazy and not going out to vote. They are now understanding that when you withhold your vote because you can't get up off your chair or your bed and go and do what you're supposed to do to ensure victory, and to keep Donald Trump where he was when he lost 4 years ago, they are now running and hiding. Many of them, as they said this morning on MSNBC, they're not going to work for fear of them being held and deported to wherever they came from. Some of them even have the documents, but their language, their dialect is giving them away. And they are being deported et al. None shall escape. You know why, Dominic? Because the Supreme Court has given Donald Trump the authority without being held accountable to do what he is doing today. So Donald Trump has free rein to do what he is doing. And there are people in our country who's looking on at that and telling themselves, perhaps if we get into office, we could do the same goddamn thing. Because if we don't want to understand that the 5 dissidents, who all they were asking for, you don't like them, you know. You don't have to trust them or believe in them, but all they were asking for is for Kamala Persad-Bissessor to do the right thing and call the internal election. And look at where they are today. To the extent where one of them is no longer being given the candidacy for mayor. A businessman, an honest man, as far as we know so far. That you put Kelvin Ramnarein, who was offered absolutely nothing to Trinidad and Tobago. But you move on Rushton Parry. All because what he was asking you to do as leader was to hold the internal election when it was due. So you have to ask yourself, who is the dictator that we keep talking about? Who is the dictator? And if we as a people don't want to understand what Kamla Persad-Bissessar is attempting to do to this country by destroying our good relations with our international, local, and regional partners for our own political gain, to ensure that this country does not move forward, and to ensure that there's pressure put on the people, we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because nobody will deal with her, I am certain of it, because of what she has said and what she has done over the years. But then, if all you don't want to understand that, you all will have to face the consequences of those actions. Because you see, Dominic, when you are making every effort to destroy good relations between us and Venezuela, as we have with respect to Dragon, because you don't want, I keep saying it, you don't want to realize Dr. Rowley's legacy. You want to destroy it. The same way, what is the come of the rent Tobago today because of sandals? Nothing is happening in Tobago. The fisher folks are climbing up and some of them say they're not going to vote for Farley. Disgusted. Look at what is going on in Tobago. What has happened over the last almost 3.5 years in Tobago? Absolutely nothing. But Farley traveling all over the world and not reporting back to his people, not paying his bills. You're paying the basics you're doing is paying salaries and that's it. Kamla Persad-Bissessar is on that same tree. And we have to be careful who we vote for. Because many people that look like you and I, Dominic, talking stupidness about Stuart Young, SC. Well, of course, it does not matter. He is Trinidadian by birth. He is PNM. And he has done his best. He has, even Raja has indicated that he has done good work. Israel Khan has indicated that he has done extremely well for Trinidad and Tobago. Israel Khan said so. And he ain't no PNM. But we standing up here, many of us are saying that, oh, it is he leading us for? Really? How stupid can we be? But we someone to support Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who wants to bring Trinidad and Tobago to the doors of the International Monetary Fund. Moody's and everybody else has indicated that we are on an upward growth path. They've all indicated so. You see that being from all over our news readers and so on? No. What they're getting is a diatribe from sellout O. And the next one, when you could talk from the house on a Monday, too lazy to come into participate into the studio. And that's absolutely nothing good to say. Because he was looking for work. And this is where we are today, Dominic. And we have to be careful. And that is why, Dominic, people like you have a lot of work to do once we get in. All of us have work to do. And we have to ensure that the people are reminded of what was said about Kamla Persad-Bissessar and what she has done before and still doing to we the people. That if she should get in there, what Donald Trump is doing right now in 1 week to the people of the United States of America, it will be no different to we the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And for that, and that alone, we have to be mindful and we have to be careful. We have to ensure that she never sees the corridors of power. Otherwise, we, people of Trinidad and Tobago, will continue to suffer under the UN. Thank you very much, Dominic. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chance, you can call me back. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello? Mr. Chance? Hello? Mr. Chance listening on another device. Hello?
Yes, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, and I want to join all here on the program in wishing you all the best. I don't luck. You don't need any luck. You have the competence and the capacity.
Thank you.
To treat with the questions in the screening committee, and I look forward to great success from you in that regard. Yeah. So let me come quickly. I know the time is short. All I want to do is reminisce. You know, I'm one of those in the senior citizen class. I'll always reflect on Dr. Williams, and we celebrated 69 years on the 24th of January. And I think in keeping with what we are faced with at this time, where we are talking about the incoming Prime Minister, a man of Chinese descent, I think that the words of Dr. Williams that he set on the foundation for us are very important. So I'm just going to read them very quickly. I think Jenny made that point, and my contribution today is that the illustrious Dr. Rowley made it. The PLM is a rally, a convention of all and for all. All and for all the forces in the community, cutting across race and religion. Foundation, cutting across race and religion. And this is the one that Jenny quotes all the time, but I want to underscore a particular line in it. Yeah, can be no Mother India for those ancestors who came from India. There can be no Mother Africa for those of African origin. There can be no Mother England. There can be no Mother China, no Mother Syria. A nation, like an individual, can only have one mother. The only mother we recognize is Mother Trinidad and Tobago. But this is the two lines. This is the two lines that I want us to remember as we go forward with the Prime Minister in waiting. A mother cannot discriminate among her children. You hear that? A mother cannot discriminate because the children of Trinidad and Tobago have so many various races and religions and so on. But the mother can't discriminate. Each of them have equal right, the right to the top and do whatever they want. And that is why I want to emphasize those particular line. According to Dr. Eric Williams, the founding father of this nation, we have one mother. That is Mother Trinidad and Tobago, and the mother cannot discriminate among her children. So here we have a child of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Stuart Young. Should we discriminate against him? Why didn't he aspire to be Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? In fact, any Chinese, any Indian, any Syrian, anyone, the mother cannot discriminate against her children. And so, Dominic, as I read again, let me wish you all success.
Thank you.
In the events on Monday, because I know the meeting today is about the executive. And the executive must recognize your competence and capacity. And certainly, when you go to the screening, I know that you do yourself very well in respect of responding to the very questions that they asked. Congratulations again, and everything successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciated. Final call. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hey, Dominic.
Hey, boss.
Hey, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, be hearing you, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate you on your achievement today. But all you have to do, Dominic, you're an intelligent guy, we all know that when you face the community, the screening community, you will have just answer the question to suit.
Yes.
The best of your knowledge, brother. And that's it. But Dominic, let me say this. Voting has consequences, people, right? As Dr. Williams said,
They have political power, or they have economical power. Do not give them political power. Because you see political power, you see what's happening in America today, what Trump making policies, which what people shouldn't know. Right? They're seeing here about the policies this man going to take that immigrant did and birth right? Right? You as an individual will have to ask yourself if you like those policies, if to vote for them. And people in Trinidad, as Dr. DCA say on the chat, right? If you hear she's liking those policies of Trump, right? To bring that into Trinidad, you cannot vote for the UNC. You have to vote for the PNM who have a policy to carry your children and you forward. So people understand what it is about policies will vote it. And you want to vote for policies will help your family, not to help your family. So, as they say, voting our consequences again. Dominic, good luck today, right?
Thank you.
All the best, brother. Take care.
You too. Thank you. All right, so I guess that'll do it for today, folks. I must be off, but thank you all so much for your vote of confidence. And as I told my party group, I shall do my best. I think I'm at 6 of us, as I said. It started off at 10 and 4. I think, I saw the article in the Guardian a couple of days ago, and it indicated that 4 of the persons did not get nominations from party groups, and so therefore they were not able to go forward. So the other contenders, based on what I'm seeing in the Express today, is Derek King, who was the former national football coach, Super Warriors. Janice Scott, who is a counselor for Calvary. An attorney, Sanjeev Buru. And let me see what else they have here. Councillor Kim Garcia John, I believe she was the councillor who had originally lost to the UNC candidate in Arima, and then they did the recount and then she won. And former Deputy Mayor Leno Pamphile. Yeah, so yes. So it's first step today, and then, well, of course, we will all progress to Balize House tomorrow. So as I said, today's exercise is really for the constituency executive to choose who they would be supporting, because I think the national screening committee will ask them who is their candidate of choice. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah. Thank you all so much. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, folks. As I always say, you know, if you're going out, keep safe on the black carpet. It's a nice sunny Sunday, and yeah. So I go with your blessings, and we'll see how things go tomorrow. Yeah. So thank you all so much. We'll chat again on Tuesday. Thank you, Michelle, Agnes, Mondesiu, Melka. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much. Charles, Corbin, Paula, Mark. I wish I could take all of your greetings and put it and carry it for them. Actually, like all of I have the support of all of these people, but yeah. Bernadine, thank you so much as well. Pearl, Winston. Winston says, Maracas, I come. Well, enjoy it, Winston. Thank you, Mary, Anna, and all of you guys. All right, so we chat again on Tuesday. Thank you, Phyllis.